I'm Bloody Mary, New Orleans Voodoo Queen. I am the curator of my own haunted museum in New Orleans and Voodoo Pharmacy Spirit Shop, where I have all sorts of things for connection and protection. A lot of in-house made voodoo dolls, candles, spells, mojo bags, gree bags, and all that jazz. I think my camera seemed to be shaking a little bit. I don't know why. Very weird. And we are waiting for our guest to call in.
On all cylinders?
We are, my technical assistant, Miss Samantha, is here. I don't know, it's shaking.
Screen is moving a little bit. I can see, I think it's just, this is a little wobbly.
It didn't do that the last few days. Maybe this laptop is nervous. Maybe. Well, we have some people in the flesh that are supposed to come. Dark Waters, a local paranormal investigator, and his specialty is Dogman. The loup-garou, or the rougarou, as you may know him, a New Orleans swamp werewolf changeling spirit. I hear them trying to come in now. Stop the knocking. So they're trying to get in, to bang the door down. So we have cryptids that are part of our talks, and we have a section of swamp monsters here in the museum as well. For they're both spirit and flesh, I believe interdimensional, as many people do. And then we have the ghosts that were once humans like you and I, that built this town, that lived and died, and that are all around. So we talk about them, and we talk about the spirits in our place as well, and the spirits of Voodoo Queen Marie Laveu, and the whole spirit aspect of New Orleans itself. So I am Voodoo Queen. I am paranormal investigator. I created what I call Voodoo Paranormal, which is a mixture of old school and new school put together. Now I'm a little early here, so I'm just jabbering on till many different people hopefully call in. So I may sing for the spirits, I may dance for the spirits, not as much lately. I may sing and dance for the spirits, for voodoo is a musical religion and a dance religion. We give libations and offerings and perfumes. Today is the biggest voodoo celebrated day of the year, and after this, as it turns towards the sun going down, we will jump in the lake. We will die in the lake and then be reborn. So St. John's Eve was Marie Laveu's biggest day. It was the biggest day here even before the times of mid-19th century heyday that Marie Laveu was queen. Marie Laveu, 1801, born in New Orleans, 1881, died in New Orleans. But her spirit definitely lives. So many people come to New Orleans to learn about voodoo, to connect with the spirit world in a safe environment. For people think it's safer when it's historic. They don't believe it's taboo to their religion to explore a little bit when it's from a historic point of view, and perhaps that's true. So we want the spirits of New Orleans to live, to be happy. I designed the Haunted Museum as a sanctuary for the spirits, especially the children. And I have many children's spirits that are here. In fact, to all those that are listening, we invite you to be part of this. We ask you to please accept this offering of perfume, to take this candy, and to use the energy of that, and not to take the energy from the internet, from the laptop, from the webcam, from any electronic devices of which we are dependent upon. You may speak through them if you like for EVP, but we don't want any harm to come to our electronics or our people. So here is some sweet little mint candy. You're actually supposed to share it with them. They know it's from you, get a little bit of your breath, your energy on it, and I put it out of the way of other people. So they have some candy. I gave some perfume. Personally, I have some coffee. And then that helps waking them up too, if that's what they liked in life. So part of my old school part of Voodoo Paranormal is feeding the dead. The dead are hungry, the dead are thirsty, and they like the things they liked in life, which could include things like cigars, cigarettes, and toys if they're children. So I have all that all around me here as gifts or offerings. We may use herbs to burn, to call them near, like burning absinthe at midnight, wormwood. There's a variety of things that we could, mugwort, that we might use to call them near. And I have a lot of things that I help people who are trying to cleanse a house, balance out a situation, different herbs for that, and different suggestions that I have. And a lot of them have to do with cooking. You know, I have a full meal. We have a full meal for the spirits tonight for St. John's Eve, which blesses St. John the Baptist and Le Grand Zombie. Marie Laveu, the storm spirits, Papa Legba, and the spirits of New Orleans. So I have food that will be going out to the lake. We will die in the lake. We will die in the lake and be reborn, as a baptism is, dying away old ways and into the new. And I shall dunk them under an old-style river baptism, and we do that yearly. And you can do it other times of the year too, but this is the wheel of the year. This is Midsummer's Eve today. And today was our NOLA Paracon, which got thwarted in its planning process because of COVID-19. Many of the people that were going to travel in their flesh simply couldn't, so now we're waiting for them. We're waiting for them to come online to visit us here. Now, what time is it? Who's late? No one's late. I'm just super early. Oh, gosh. It's 2:45. I said 3 o'clock. This way, at least all of this will be on the recording of what's going on. Anyway, we're here at the Haunted Museum. Oh, anyway, yes, we have to make people wear masks, so I didn't know anybody was going to be here, so I'm not wearing my mask, but I am definitely beyond socially distanced away from anyone who would be coming here, and that is only from the living, not from the dead. Nick Groff, who was from Paranormal Lockdown, who did an episode here in season 2 on, I think, Discovery America. He spent 3 nights in here on lockdown and met my spirits that I've been working with at that point for just a little bit over a month. And that was 4 years ago in October, which was on the 10th anniversary of an event that happened inside the building. We have 200 years of life and death in the Haunted Museum that sometimes pops up to say hello. We also have a tragic incident that occurred here 1 year after Katrina. Those 2 spirits are part of the family of spirits that is here now. And their tale is sad, but yet a cautionary tale as well. We have many, many different spirits inside here, some that come with haunted objects that I have collected or that have collected me, some that were already here, some that come with you, perhaps. But I made this as a sanctuary for the spirits if they needed a place to go, a place to preserve their stories, their history, their artifacts. If they're attached to the artifacts of the buildings they once lived, I might have a piece of that in here so that they can come in easier. These haunted artifacts contain the residual energy of the person or the place. It can act like a bridge for the spirits to come through. So we have many things in here like that, including a very haunted wheelchair from the old charity hospital, which brings many spirits in. It's a very old wheelchair, and the hospital is, 1 million square feet, yeah, just 1 mile away. And it has been abandoned since Katrina in 2005. It is filled with spirits and lots of history. So we also have here, we're in the seance room, you can barely see the end of a trumpet that was used in seances up there to amplify the voices of the spirits. We have many different artifacts that are inside here, and maybe that's someone calling to come in now. Why don't you show some of our new candles, and maybe some people can see this.
Let me see. Well, we have our brand new herbs and fabulous ingredients here, as well as some homemade candles made by Bloody Mary, Love Potion, the Money Candle. We have L'amour and Protection. They're very beautiful and full of herbs and magical ingredients.
I knew Marie Laveu. Where is that one?
Those are going to be over here with these other sticker candles. Marie Laveu is right here. The queen herself. Looking very nice. Blessed candles. We have all varieties.
Handmade, blessed, infused with different ritual workings I've done. And they can be charged for a purpose. We can burn them here for you. Need some help with your rituals, or we can mail them to you.
And we have
candles, potions, powders. Bloody Mary will be waiting for Nick Groff to tune in, and then we're waiting for Dark Waters to come in, and we're also waiting. I think we have a few other local surprises and faraway surprises with authors and psychic.
Just been working away, editing on a new series I have coming out, so I'm really excited about it. And obviously,
good.
I talk to you all the time, and I'm excited to get back down to New Orleans in the near future. I feel like there's so much more to do.
That would be great. I'm excited for, no offense, anyone to get back to New Orleans. Wait, hold on, I'm going to turn this off. I am having trouble hearing you. Okay, that should be better. Yes, the whole city is lonely without our visitors, you know, those that have never been here and those that are coming here again for the first time. We are definitely waiting. New Orleans is a town that's used to influx of people, always. Again, it's starving for attention. So, when do you think you're going to make it? We're not going to make it till next year now, Nick?
I don't know. I was supposed to come there this year.
Right now.
Right now, actually, yeah. We were supposed to be there this week, and then, you know, obviously everything came up and we had to rearrange just scheduling and stuff. So I'm not too sure. I would love to make it out there by the end of the year or, beginning of next year. So it's probably going to be next year. But you never know. Things change.
I'm hoping that we could do the NOLA Paracon that we wanted to. Yeah, I don't know why his is. NOLA Paracon next year in June, because June 23rd is normally a very magical mystical time. Plus, it's Midsummer's Eve and all that. So we hope you could come then, but we'll take you anytime.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, you've been, wonderful to talk to and just helping out with everything that you've been doing. And I don't know, I think over the years, you know, the friendship that we have has just grown, and it's just one of those things where you go to people that you just fully trust and has great knowledge of just spiritualism and other things that you need to research a little bit deeper, you know, outside of my realm that I don't do every day like you do. So I love talking to you every time I talk to you.
Even to mute, because his breathing is coming through.
Me?
Yeah. So can you mute?
Okay.
Good. And that way, if you have a question, unmute. Yeah. Because I can't hear him.
Yeah, I was walking.
I can't hear Nick that well, and I can't see him. Okay, cool. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Can you hear me okay here? Can you hear me? Oh, okay.
It's better. The breathing's done, and I turned off the AC.
For some reason, there was something.
What?
Should be able to hear me okay now.
Yeah.
How's that? A little bit better?
No, it's good. I was getting some feedback from his mic and from air condition. This time, I don't think it was the spirits. Hey, you know, I started my haunted little possessions contest when we first start planning this, like in February or whatever, right? Yep. And we were supposed to be the judges of who the winners were today. You were going to be one of them. Yeah. However, I judged it without you. However, I want to show you. I'd like your take on them, okay?
All right.
So I have these guys right here. Can you see them?
Yes. Those are cool.
There are 5 of them.
Interesting. Bound it together, huh?
I did that, yeah.
Yeah. Looks good. I like it.
Do you get anything off of them?
Hold it a little bit away from the camera or back towards you. Yeah, right about there, maybe.
There's one. There's, it's kind of hard because they're bundled. There's a big one in the back. There's 2 little ones in front, and there's a thick one on the side. There's 5. Yeah,
I see them all. Interesting. Yeah, it's funny how certain things resonate different energies, you know? I'm not too sure.
I mean, you are with dolls or
dolls don't necessarily scare me if we're talking about being frightened by dolls. I think certain things, objects, materialistic things in this reality hold energy just like people when we resonate energy. You know, I think people can hold energy just as much as objects. So it's like quartz crystal, you know, like when you go into certain places that have quartz crystal in the foundation of locations, I find it more heightened with weird activity that occurs in different locations. So I don't know, like the supernatural I think is interesting, but we also project with our own minds. We project those thoughts and intent. I mean, you know this, just embedded in.
But we're also receivers. We receive
exactly
back from the items as well.
Yep.
So these items are causing a hell of a lot of havoc in someone's house. They call me for help. So since I had all the time we took about 2.5-3 weeks of a variety of steps of cleansings and exorcisms on them to rehabilitate them, which I have on my YouTube channel, which you should go look at. But they won, and they're not evil anymore.
Oh, interesting. So people were having this. So somebody had all this activity happening at their house, and they passed it on to you. Did you notice things happening when you first got them?
No.
Like, did you feel like a weird energy? Huh?
No. I usually do. You know, I'm not against that. They were okay. I start working with them right away. I start feeding them. I start letting you have a different atmosphere. I think because I also have so many children's spirits here at the Haunted Museum that I was introducing them to, that they were feeling, because it was from, you know, feeling more at home. Right. And I gave them, what I do is I kind of rebirth them. I lock them away in a ritual basket for a week, kind of like reborn. Then I rename and I rebaptize them and I cleanse them and I work with them and I do psychic investigations on them. So I documented that, since I had more time than usual, on my YouTube channel on all the different rituals that I did. I don't go just running for the smudge. And we did get some very interesting stories out of these dolls. And then I went back to the people, got their stories again. So it was an interesting journey. You know, one thing, I had a little more time. I actually learned how to, you know, edit. Things that I was always trying to, you know, chase down my son to do. I kind of learned to do some things myself in this time period.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they ended up being the winners, but next year I hope we're going to have like things laid out and you can help judge with me. But the spirits here, it'll be interesting to see how the spirits may have changed since you were here. Do you want to give a few-minute overview of your experiences here in the building while I was making it into the Haunted Museum in New Orleans?
Yeah. I mean, it was an interesting time that we were allowed to go into that location. You know, it was kind of, I don't know, it was in a weird transition. Yeah, it was in bad shape, right? There was a fire and stuff like that, and the foundation and everything.
There was a hole in the roof.
There's a hole in the roof. Yeah, it was just, you know, it was a shell. It was a shell that was starting to hold all this kind of like weird energy, I guess you would say. I mean, right when I stepped foot on the property, you could almost sense some spiritual energy about it. But that's the problem, right? Because there's so much history right on that land.
20 years old. Yeah. You know.
It's so hard to decipher what is what. I mean, from my personal take. So I don't know. It was really fascinating to me to go through the 3 days. But what was really boggling my mind, I think psychologically, it's just, it messes with your head. When you're sleeping at a location like that, where you've had a dramatic event occur, it's going to mess with my head. And it did. I was able to like kind of push that aside, and we were able to make contact with with a couple of different spirits. The child, and also Addie, I felt, came through one time, and also the spirit of Zach too came through. And it was really interesting just hearing the vocal tone come through on our devices and being able to decipher that. I don't know. It was just. And
you were very lucky that we had verification. Like, I had already been working with the spirits for a month, so I could verify things that came through, and I already hadn't told you yet on the box.
Exactly.
But then at a conference.
Oh yeah, this was what was so strange out of everything, because
the Cryptid conference.
Yeah,
right?
Crypticon. So, you know, the subject matter is very sensitive, right? So I was very particular going into this.
Okay, first of all, not everybody out there knows.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to explain
it?
Really
quick? 2 seconds or less. I can't do 2 seconds. This has a very tragic murder-suicide story right after Katrina. Zach and Addie are the victims, and they're considered the last 2 Katrina victims, in fact. And a lot of people in town knew them, and it was very close at a time that was very dark in this town. So unfortunately, as he went mad up there trying to figure out what he had done and trying to hide it, he chopped her up in the bathtub and cooked her in the oven. He didn't eat her. I have to always make people understand they did not eat her. People called him the Katrina cannibal, but he didn't. But he went mad while he was up there, which added to the madness that everyone was having from Katrina itself, and from whatever he may have been carrying from the war. But there was levels and layers of PTSD. And poor Addie, many people since have been blaming her, which I think is horrible. I take on the woman's side and sometimes said, it's not fair. This is a story about problems in, the soldier. But nonetheless, he killed her. He chopped her up. He desecrated her body. And both spirits are growing and trying to figure out what's going on. you ended up here, or we ended up in here, accidentally on purpose, at the 10-year anniversary of this event.
Right.
Anniversary is always intense, and renovation is intense. Both were going on. So that was a hot and heavy time.
Yeah, it was a very
And
interesting time.
At the Cryptid conference, someone came up to you to verify things too, right?
Right. So I kind of forgotten about, well, I didn't forget about the investigation, but my mind wasn't in the set of like, you know, thinking about that. But it was strange. So we were at Crypticon, a convention that I run out of Kentucky, Lexington, and the whole event went through the whole day, right? It was a great event. And we're sitting there, there was a karaoke, you know, everyone can get together and do karaoke and all that stuff after. So it was kind of a weird time. And the lights were dim, and I'm standing there talking to the Kirklands and some other people I know. And Elizabeth Saint was there. There was a couple other people that were really close to me that were there. And all of a sudden, this gentleman walks up to me and he says, I just want to let you know about the Zach and Addie case in New Orleans. You know, he mentioned the house name and everything on Rampart
Actually, he
Street.
just said Zach, right?
I think he said Zach. So at first it threw me off because I was thinking the other Zach.
There's another Zach involved.
Yeah, I was like, wait, where are we going with this? So then he's like, no, on Rampart Street. So I was like, oh, in New Orleans. And he's like, yeah, I just want you to let you know that I was one of his best friends when he was alive. I was really close with him, and I did not want to watch the episode. I knew about it coming out. I didn't want to watch it, but for some reason I felt compelled to watch it. And I have to say that I get goosebumps talking about it. He said that it was so sincere and it was done right, that it moved him in a way that he felt compelled to come up to me and tell me that. It's almost like he was passing on a message.
I had a dream about you that night.
Right, you did, and you told me about that. Yeah, yeah.
I called you and you said, it's so strange you called right now. This is what happened.
Yeah.
And you told me that the guy came up to you and said, and when his voice came out in the recorder, he said, that was Zachary's voice.
That's what he said, yeah. Yep.
He said, I could not deny it. He didn't know how much he believed this time. He goes, and I'm freezing right now because Zachary's here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he goes, that was Zachary's voice. And he was the bartender that was with him night after night drinking while this was going on. And he made comment about, I think, the relationship was dominating, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, that validated it for me, you know, because when you go through like the investigation, you go through the experience that we personally go through in our own shoes. Nobody else can really experience it, but we're documenting, we're presenting that, right? And obviously you see what you saw in Paranormal Lockdown when I stayed at the location for 3 days. But it's, you know, it's condensed 43 minutes to TV, all the best parts that you see with whatever happened. So it was interesting hearing him say, you know, that voice that you captured, you know, that was him. That validated. I mean, to me, that just validated everything to me. And it was almost like a message from the other side being passed on through him to me, saying that, you know I did all these wrong things, but thank you. It's almost like trying to move on in a sense, you know, let go, don't have regrets, confront your own self, confront what you did, just like in life.
Yeah, he's still confronting those things. And that was the tattoo upon his, I think it's crotch.
Right.
No regrets.
Yeah.
On Zachary, literally, was his tattoo.
Yeah.
Fan, right?
It's crazy. It was a crazy moment for me.
Music that we play still soothes him here sometimes, you know. Sometimes he's still depressed. Sometimes he's angry and music soothes him. She could be sad and upset, but she could be funny and wanting to play too, like her mood changes. And once in a while, there's a slight remembrance of the romance. On 3 occasions when I've had extremely tall men in here, like Zachary, like 6'6", 6'7", with their shorter girls, I know something's going to happen. I watch them on night vision as they're walking around, and there'll be a moment when they're alone that they'll stop and kiss. And when they stop and kiss, orbs swirl in and out of them because that's the way the ghosts get to touch.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
and
I mean,
it's chills today.
Amazing location.
It's very interesting. And we've got a lot of children, more and more children that tell the other children that it's okay. And of course, the little boy that you met, Abe, kept throwing things at you.
Yeah.
He still throws things at people, not stones anymore, but little nickels and dimes come out of nowhere, little apples, you know? But yeah, I mean, we have different collections that come in, which bring different spirits. And this has put a whole damper in a few things. You know, it's kind of like regrouping. They didn't have the energy of people in here. As I mentioned, the whole town didn't. I had to drive around in my car and pour rum out of the window so all the spirits wouldn't die. You know, there was no liquor. There was no bars open. There was no energy in the streets. So I just drive around and do what I can to try to wake it up so it would not stagnate and die.
I swear, if I'm a spirit, I hope you come around and pour some rum for me. That's all I'm thinking about right now.
I will. I mean, I put food out of the drum. We play music for them. We drum.
Yeah.
That's the paranormal part. The old school is they're part of the family. They like what they like in life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We want that, as well as some of the equipment. They have a tendency to fry a lot of equipment, though. Do you lose a lot of equipment?
I have batteries draining a lot. There's been a couple of locations where the equipment has malfunctioned when it shouldn't. You know, it's just one of those things. So
Mine literally blows up sometimes, all the energy that's here. And, of course, the battery drains. By the way, I saw Dark Waters on there. He is a local cryptid paranormal expert that I wanted y'all to meet, and you will meet next year. He really exposes the dogman, the other word for the loup-garou and the rougarou, our swamp werewolf, and other ghost stories that he goes and collects. So Dark Waters is one of our paranormal experts, and wherever you are out there in Cyberland, this is Nick. Say hi. You can use the chat function. I can see it and read it. So if anyone wants to ask a question or find out something, please chat as well. So I saw that Dark Waters was there, and then we have another woman that was going to step in, Dana Hollyfield, who is kind of like the mistress of the Honey Island swamp monster. Do you know the Honey Island swamp monster?
oh yeah, yeah, it's awesome.
But it's also kind of like a loup-garou, you know, you kind of.
Yeah.
Her grandfather documented it, and she's been carrying on the legacy. And I have, I should go run get it. I have a footprint of the loup-garou. I'm sorry, of the Honey Island swamp monster from her island, from where she lives.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah, I can't wait to get out there.
Local cryptid experts that are my buddies. And I personally love the loup-garou and the rougarou and the creatures of the night. So, so you started to become a big fan of cryptids. That's why you started Crypticon?
No, I've actually been big into all things paranormal and supernatural since as a kid. Actually, more so into UFOs and extraterrestrials before ghosts. A lot of people don't know that. And then later, I got really involved into cryptid just because of the people I crossed paths with and the more knowledge I gained. Like you, Bloody Mary, when we crossed paths, I learned more about voodoo and hoodoo and all that spiritualism.
Right.
I mean, when I cross paths with people, there's stuff that intrigues me, I think, across the whole entire board, because we live in a world that's so unknown that it's vast in just all this rich, you know, ideas of just certain topics that I want to learn more. So it's not just about the ghosts and the paranormal and supernatural. Like in that sense, for me, it's about everything, everything that I can.
More in the flesh like us.
Yeah, I just, yeah, exactly. I think I want to grow and evolve as a human being. And the more I can learn, the better off I can know a little bit more of what's out there, you know? But as far as experiencing, I've never experienced, you know, actually I take that back. Hinsdale House. I did a couple of years ago. I was at the Hinsdale House in the woods, the dark forest, and I was out there by myself for an hour in the dark. And all of a sudden I heard this, what sounded like a massive wild turkey up in the tree above me come thumping down to the ground, right? The only way I can describe it is a wild turkey, which is interesting. So here's where it gets bizarre is you hear it thump the ground, start kind of walking, and then just disappear. Like the sound of it disappear. And I'm standing out there going, oh, it was coming straight at me and it was weird. You could feel the presence. You could feel the energy. I could definitely, it was surreal. I could hear it. Now, what was strange is later I let Dan Class know about this experience I had. And he goes, oh, that's so weird. I think a week after me or a week before me, I forget which one it was, but he shows me a picture. He's like, you have to see this. And he randomly shows me this picture with two glowing red eyes of this this creature of some sort, which I think is more cryptid, and it's up in the trees. And they have a photography of this being up there.
Always have the red eyes. That's why it's the rougarou, because that's the French word for red, roux.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Dead eyes,
Yeah.
you know. So that was the lucre, was the French word for
Right.
werewolf, but putting the rue in there was the red eye, seeing between the veil.
Yeah.
So, but
That was my experience.
not only the other time, because you claim when you were in my personal house with Ghost Adventures.
Oh, right. Yeah. Well, that threw me off.
Here, at first you just told me it was a wild boar, and then recently you told me, no, it was a pig man. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know my bedroom. I thought I broke up with that guy. You know, I didn't. But my house, as well as most of New Orleans, was on top of a giant swamp. And wild boar were plentiful in New Orleans. And a changeling spirit did not have to only change into a wolf or a, you know, more of a shapeshifter kind of a werewolf. It could have been the pig. And there was some weird talk about a turkey once, but I don't really remember it. But they could turn into other part animal. But they could also, here, as the stories of the cryptids evolved, they could also turn into inanimate objects as well. So they could change into many things. So they had a good grasp on, I guess, their chemistry, right? That they could change these things, the particles in themselves. So I've had encounters of Luke Grew a couple of times, and for some reason a bunny is also involved, a rabbit, before you'll see the wolf. I don't know why.
Yeah, that was a crazy experience, because I'm wandering through your house. It was just Aaron and I and Ghost Ventures when we were investigating it, and I'm wandering through the house, and I take a corner, I think a room into your side bathroom or something, and I go, oh, what's on this other side of the door? So I go to open it, and all of a sudden I heard this wild boar snorting sound coming straight at me, and all I can describe it as like this, you know, a man's body but with a massive boar head snorting. And I just jumped back, and then I'm kind of like moving back through the house, and the books come falling off the bookshelf that you had there in the hallway, and all. Well,
they kind of look like they did more than fall, because they were in the bedroom, like way across. Like,
I mean, they were like falling off, like
falling and throwing themselves at you.
Yeah,
exactly. A haunted doll there who throws little things, but usually little coins and candy. And I'm not even sure if he was there when y'all went to my house, but there was a lot of ghosts that came out that night.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
Your fault, even though I know y'all all blame me and said I cursed you and all that crap.
No, I don't think you cursed us at all. I think it's one of those things where you walk into a stranger's house or some other realm, you open up that door, which you did, and it's us.
Yes,
I was super young.
And said, "Open the gates, come the spirits." Yeah. You were the one that said, "And the malevolent ones too." You were the one that called for the darkness, not me.
Yeah.
I don't trouble fighting that off.
Was that me, or was that the other you. Zach?
Zach wasn't even there. Zach was trying to get lucky over at a old whorehouse. Remember, he stayed by himself.
Yeah.
And he just sent you a parent.
I remember. Yeah, I mean, I do remember us being young. You know, I mean, I'll be the first to admit, like back then, immature, not knowing what I'm really doing, and you know, just investigating kind of the unknown, and it was fascinating to me. It was just really fascinating. But I've grown so much more knowledge. I would love to come back. Just
you know, we are here definitely at the museum and at my house. When you come back in town, we can. I still do small investigations in my house, or I was until all this happened.
Yeah.
Because things have, you know, now we can only take occasional groups in only certain ways. Everything is evolving so much. So obviously what happens here happens over there. The spirits have to be evolving too. Now, Dark Waters, I saw you come in. I don't know if you're still there. Do you have something to add about cryptids while we have Nick here? Can you turn on your volume? I saw his name pop up.
Yeah, he's here.
Where you at?
Oh, I did see him. I don't know where he went. Nope, he's not here.
Oh, maybe he was having a little trouble with Zoom. Well, I was just trying to get him to introduce you, since you both have such interest in the cryptids. And I love them too, because, I mean, people don't realize New Orleans is a big city, but underneath it all, New Orleans is still a swamp, right? 80% swamp. So there's layers and layers of different dimensions and spirits and inhabitants, denizens of all these layers that are around. just because there's a city built on top, the swamp was just pumped a little bit under. We're very, very close to the water. And many people say the water are the spirit's highways. You know, you were talking about places with crystal, you find it amplifies energy and all that. But we're just the freaking opposite, and we're filled with spirits. We have 0 rock, 0 stone, 0 pebble below us, 70 feet under, compacted clay. We are mud and water and clay. That's all that's underneath us. So it's in the mud, and it's in the Mississippi, her power itself. Now she's a cryptid. She's the spirit of place. The mother here is kind of like a mermaid, and you will occasionally see that mermaid physical, which I believe is interdimensional when you contact Mama New. But her whole energy is all under the city with all the Finger Lakes and stuff. So that's a powerful force to connect with, and I've connected with the mermaid on many occasions. And she's one of the spirits that I serve.
Yeah, exactly. What about different realities
Energy?
crossing over? Yeah, let's say that, you know, like what we're talking about now, the people are still, like back then, let's say 1800s, let's just pick a number, and something's happening at a location, the 1800s right now, and that energy's playing out in that location. And here we are in reality, and we're in this place, and the two realities cross over or bleed through, and that energy, you know, can coexist with each other. What happens if we're both sensing that? You know, they might think we're spirits, we might think they're spirits, so on.
Yeah, absolutely. I always say, if I'm in a situation like that, you know, I remember I couldn't find a hotel, and I found a hotel, and I knew it was going to be haunted, and it was in Vicksburg, you know, and they only had 1 room left, and only the kid was there, so he wasn't very, I don't know, the parents weren't home, the kid let me in, and I was like, you know, do you have any rooms? By the way, do y'all have spirits? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I'm going to put you in the amputation room. It's like, joy. But he was a kid, and he was just like, yeah, we do all the amputations down here. Come on in. I was like, all right, great. So I'm in this room, and I'm sitting down, and stuff is already happening the second I'm getting there, and I turn on the TV. There was nothing I could do to change channels to get away from amputation shows. There was MASH with a heavy unit. There was saving life and limb on a medical chair. Every time I turned, somebody was being cut up. And this wasn't the kid. This was just reality of what was going on. I'm like, seriously? Seriously? I was like, all right, I'm going to sit here. He goes, okay, I don't know if any of you can hear me, but just in case, I would like to tell you a little bit about germs. I would like to tell you a little bit of trying to wash your hand in between each case that you go to so you don't spread germs from people to people, because this is knowledge that I have in this century that you might not have, and it can save lives. Clean your, you know, I'm not a doctor, but I did what I could. I was like, just in case you can hear me, I only want to help.
Yeah.
The first thing they did was threw everything off my bed, like the suitcases and everything. Like, I'm tired. I really was exhausted. I'd been driving, you know. I wasn't ready to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I said, but if I could help you, and you know, so yeah, I mean, the thing is that we have to work as a team and cooperate. If we can help them and share any knowledge, we should. If they can help us in the now and warn us about something to come, they should. We've got to learn to work together, not just to, you know, so there's, hi, how many spirits are there here? You know, we do that because we don't know what other questions to ask, but we need to share knowledge and help each other, you know?
Yep. You're just looking for hand sanitizer through all your stuff there. In the luggage, throwing your stuff.
Like, I don't have any, but you know, nobody was carrying hand sanitizer at the time. You know, this is, 15 years ago.
No, I know. I'm just joking. But that's what I'd be doing now.
Something to share, you know, knowledge, because germs did lose, you know,
absolutely,
problems than anything else in those quick situations of trying to hurry up and chop off a limb.
Yep. Energy continues. I mean, that's the fascinating part about, like, I'm really interested in the conscious thought that we create, you know, through these brains, this mysterious brains, and then what happens with this capsule, that the body that we're living in, and the energy and electricity and the conscious thoughts, all that lingering behind. So that's really what fascinates me when I'm investigating now. And I started to go into a lot of the perspective of, you know, what about other things outside the box thinking in different realities or different bleed throughs from different periods of time where we're coexisting with each other. You know, these bleeps at these locations can have that that residue left behind. That's why New Orleans is so interesting to me. Like you said, you know, there's no rock, there's no quartz, there's none of that. It's mud.
Well, we're on a direct ley line with Cairo, Egypt. 90-30 here, 30-30 there. We're on a direct line with Tibetan Himalayas, holy places. We are strategically located in those worm lines. I have been brought on astral travels back in time, forth in time. Maybe it's partially to do where I was born, and I was literally created and born right on that ley line, right? You know, I've gone all over the place from here.
Yeah.
And spirits from all over the place have come here from different times, and it seems to be quite a good place for that to occur, though it has been rather stale lately. Again, we're at the mouth of the Mississippi. We're a port town. This is a marked port for coming and going. We are dependent upon that energy. Got you breathing again.
Oh, God. Yeah, it's off mute. I just want to say I saw my first thing was watching the Paranormal Lockdown with Nick and Katrina on that, and that was one of my favorite shows. And I was back at the museum in January with my boys, and we did one of the late night tours. And I had the night before. I don't know how relevant this is, but I had a dream of black crows in a tree, and you know, I looked in that means death. So I'm like, oh, okay, or you know, peril. So I went with the boys the next night on the tour, and I actually fell asleep on the couch in the apartment next door. But while I fell asleep, I had the dream, and the crows left. And so I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. And I'm a forensic archaeologist by, you know, what I do work-wise. So it just, when I tell my friends about it, they're like, oh, you're just like too into all this ghost hunting stuff. But a lot of things have happened since that. And I went to the museum in Las Vegas and all that. But this probably the house was my bucket list thing, and I'm planning on coming back. We got canceled with COVID, but that was the best show that I've been on.
Please do come back. We do have crows regularly. We've never had more crows in New Orleans since COVID, though. I mean, they're freaking everywhere. We always have in the back. They're also messengers from the other side, not just death. So, you know, they can bring messages back and forth. So don't only think of it as not.
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you. I really appreciate the kind words too. Appreciate that.
Glad you liked the show.
Thank you.
Like the
Yeah.
ghost.
Speaking of, he just triggered a memory for me when I was actually in Natchez, Mississippi, King's Tavern Inn. Investigated that on Ghost Ventures. I don't remember when, 2010 maybe or something like that. I'm probably missing the date.
That's right next to the Mark Twain house.
Natchez King's Tavern Inn was
Right by the water.
I think so. I forget exactly where, but interesting story about the crows, right? So I finished the investigation the whole night, go through the whole night. I get in the car, somebody's driving me to the airport. Now here's what's bizarre. I had all this lingering kind of weird energy leaving King's Tavern. It was just a weird investigation. Let me just put it that way. And I'm leaving to go to the airport so I can get home. And all of a sudden I'm driving down the street. I see this house just on the side of the road on fire. And we drive by. It was like out of a David Lynch movie where we're just driving and just houses on fire and nobody's around. It's just on fire.
Oh,
and
wow. No firemen.
It was weird. It was bizarre. So I don't know. It was just weird. And we're driving. We keep going straight. And all of a sudden, this whole entire road is covered with crows. The whole entire road.
Wow.
Which was so weird to see in the road going back to Baton Rouge's airport. Baton Rouge, yeah, the airport there.
Go all the way to Baton Rouge from Natchez?
Yeah.
How weird. Okay,
Yep.
that's far.
So then I drive, the crows aren't moving. They're just sitting on the road, the whole entire road.
Murder of crows.
Yeah, and we drive and we get close and then they just flock away and they go away. So here's where it gets weird. So I get to the airport, I get on the airport and I'm talking about all these weird things like this happened, that happened, this happened. Mm-hmm. Now, supposedly the biggest storm in New England history is hitting, right, on this same day, but it's nice and sunny and hot out where I'm at in Baton Rouge. Right. So I get on the airplane, I'm flying. I get to Manchester, New Hampshire to fly into that airport, which I never do. I usually go to Boston. So the pilot is trying to land at this small little airport in Manchester, New Hampshire, in the biggest storm of the century in New England, one of the biggest. And he's literally landing where he can't see out the windows because it's just storm and snow. And I think we hit the runway and he just bounced back up and just like pulled back up at the last minute to keep flying back. So he circles and he's like, everyone's like, you know, everyone's freaking out. You know what? I just smiled the whole time because I mean, like my line of work, you know, it's like, hey, when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. It's kind of like final destination for my life. So I'm like, I accept whenever it comes. Because you never know, you know, but I would just, everyone's panicking. I'm just keeping calm and it is what it is. And we circle around, then we fly all the way back to, I forget where we flew back to, maybe past Philadelphia, somewhere way, I don't remember. Anyways, we land where it's sunny and nice out, some other state. And I get a couple hours of rest. I get a rental car and everything is shut down for the next couple of days. So I decide to get in the rental car and start driving about 20 hours back home. And I'm driving on the highway. The highway looked like the apocalypse. For once I got to like Connecticut and on to New England, it literally was tow trucks in snow on the highway trying to pull cars out of the snow that were stuck, that were just abandoned. All these cars and buses and trucks and just abandoned all over the highway. So I'm just weaving around them, just stopped there, covered in snow. And then some parts of the highway were closed down. So I would have to get off on side roads and try to figure out how to bypass it all and get back on it to cross bridges and stuff. It was nuts.
GPS is working.
GPS was working because the snow it stopped overnight. Okay. So I was able to drive, but I'm just saying it was a chain of events that occurred, you know, and that's just.
Do you believe that the message was coming from the crow trying to stop you in your path because.
Something weird like that. I mean, just hearing his story and just thinking back on like what happened. I still talk about that today, you know.
3 days, I think, before Mardi Gras. I wrote it in my little memoirs. 5 days before Mardi Gras, 3 days before Mardi Gras. A huge swoop of like thousands of crows down Bourbon Street. Now that never occurs. Out in the parks. And people were saying like, so weird. Then they came all the way out by me across the way to the park, fill the trees. You could see nothing but that. That night was the first person that got crunched between the cars in the Mardi Gras float. Oh, everybody was freaked out. 2 days later, another thing with the crows swooping down the streets. Never happens. And back across the street, another person dies, squished between the floats in Mardi Gras. And I knew then, I was like, this is a sign something big is coming. This does not happen. Hello, the new person that came in. This does not happen. This is a sign for something really dark coming. And you know, COVID and everything that's been here ever since, and how Mardi Gras, which I knew was a carrier. I made sure I was double masked. I had Vaseline up my nose. I felt something was coming for a while, and I was very careful, but Mardi Gras was a huge carrier of this virus, you know?
Yeah, I definitely.
So we need to pay attention to our signs and pay attention to our spirits and pay attention to our intuition, our gut, as well as our paranormal devices. Blend it all.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I started being more aware of like intuition, you know, dreams. And also the connections with your everyday life. I've been living by that big time in the last 2 years. Yeah.
The synchronicities of things. Yes, very important
to
follow and what you have in your dreams, I should tell throughout, follow up in the physical plane. If you, for example, get a bad dream, here's an easy example that's happened to me several times. Dream that you're in a car accident. Go outside and ding your car yourself. Make it happen in a lesser form in the physical plane, so what's out there can happen, but yet not as devastating. Make it so that you control the situation. Make so that you set the boundaries of how it happens. If I get a dream about cooking a meal, I'll try to cook a meal and go put it out for an offering or leave it out. I will follow things, and there were several accidents that I should have died in. That I had many dreams, not just one, but several dreams, as it lessened the way that it hit me. and didn't hurt either one of us on the way there. And, to the point that I got numbers, which were the plate numbers of the car and everything, so do pay attention to your dreams and to your gut. Don't be afraid, just be aware.
Have you ever had a dream where you're in an elevator and it's vivid, like it feels real?
In an elevator, but go.
Yeah, like where you're in an elevator, right? This is a dream, really happened, and you're standing there looking, and then it starts dropping, starts going down.
Yeah,
and you're there with somebody, but you can't.
Years, but I used to get it.
You can't see who the person is, but there's someone else there with you, and it just drops, and then you feel that free fall, and then you go into the ground. This dream was so surreal to me, where I really knew it was coming, and I relaxed myself in my dream, and I let go, and I hit the ground, and I felt myself floating, and I was floating. It took a while till I came back to my body, where you're aware again. But man, what's the symbolism behind that? Because I've heard several different.
Lots of things depending on what's going on in your life. But I mean, I've always heard to jump so that you don't hit the bottom and you don't die. But you could just be in a perilous situation, a situation that you don't know the fruition of, and you've got great fear that you're just going to plummet to your death. So, if there are these situations in one's life, whether they're losing jobs, breakups, other financial distress that's coming, something's coming. You can prepare yourself a little bit and not know that it's not going to necessarily kill you. It may mean change. Look around you. You might not see, like you said, you didn't see that person in the elevator. Sometimes there's several people on the elevator. There might be some people that are going to backstab you. And in this world there are, or you just better maybe watch the things that you're doing, your choices, and, just try to see where you might be going to get in trouble and prepare yourself for it. Like, it's plummeting. What are you going to do? Lately, as in the last 10, 20 years, I have more of not an elevator, but a kind of like driving on highways and off ramps and going into nothingness that, highways that aren't finished, or exits that are not completed, or taking me up and down and over and around. So I have to divert and find new interesting paths. To get where I'm going, and do so without fear, or simply get out of the whole vehicle to begin with. Just snap my way out of that damn elevator and see, get myself out of that car and that highway and find my own path,
Cool. Yeah, I was reading some of the comments in the chat here. Can't read all of them.
I'm seeing the chat.
Yeah,
Is there any questions?
Yep, I just don't know.
I can't get let me see.
But I'll read them once.
Okay, now I see. And but I investigated or visit Zach, and they said she was helping spirits of women pass from prostitution and stuff. I hope that she is doing this stuff. I want to let her know that she is making a difference. Nick, I take classes for dream conscious mind stuff in the School of Metaphysics.
Yeah, that's cool. That's what I was thinking about too.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to do your own active dreaming. I've been doing that and psychically doing it for 35 years, teaching people how to work with their dreams. So there's they all have a meaning to you. Don't just go get a book on what this means in a dream, because they'll say certain colors, which might mean something totally different to you. Just open up to it. It's a big thing in voodoo too. But the spirits, Addie has developed as a spirit to the point that she sometimes would come help. I don't know this from prostitution, but she would come help people that are having relationship issues, because that's an expertise, and she would console them or watch them. So she wants to help others, and I believe that you can grow on the other side as well as here. So sometimes she'll come down to the different areas where we're doing psychic readings, and she'll interact. On the other hand, she'll also interact when I have bachelorettes and when I go out and drink and party, and she wants that too. So she wants to have her fun, and she wants to help, but she is a growing spirit. She is not stuck in the death mode. She is not trapped here. She can come and go at her pleasure. We have memorials for her everywhere. We give her gifts. She loves funky sunglasses. We pray for her, and we donate money in her name to stop domestic violence in New Orleans Justice Center. And I do give money to families on the holidays for veterans and things. And so that he too can use some of that energy and know that it was a moment in time that he was, of course, wrong, but that he was more than that and that he could grow. And when he can forgive himself, his spirit can grow even faster, but he has to believe that. You can't just run Hollywood, jump into the light, and it's all done. You've got to be ready for each transition, whether you're in the flesh or otherwise, you know?
Exactly. Yep. So I can't wait to get back. I need to come back soon. So it'll be awesome.
Yes, definitely come back. I don't get to see people's faces when the chat's up, so definitely come back. Any of y'all can, you can text us some questions. Well, you can email questions. Please go to bloodymaryneworleans.com and join my YouTube channel. And Nick's got a G Crew show. What else you want to tell them about out there?
Yeah, we do a G Crew new episode every night. We put the link up on my Instagram and all over the place. So we had you on, Bloody Mary. It was an awesome. I mean, it's great conversations that we're, talking to all people from all walks of life with different views and ideas and beliefs. So it's a really fun show. I actually really enjoy it. And we have some great conversations. Yeah, so check it out, G Crew. And I will be back soon. I will be back. New Orleans is so interesting to me. I just love walking down Bourbon Street. I know a lot of people hate it. I love it. But
I mean, if you live here, you're kind of over it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But there's the Lower Bourbon, and where I meet my tourists for about 20 years now. Blacksmith Shop Bar.
We did that.
Pirates Bar. Yeah, we went there. And there's parts of it that are not as touristy. Of course, right now, none of it's touristy.
Right.
So you can walk down any part of town. And it is a time if you could sit still and feel things that you could. But we're trying to balance back, but we need you. This city, energy of this city. Yeah. Not just the financial problems, which we have about you, but the energy needs the tourists, needs the visitors, needs the ebb and flow, constant pulsing. It needs you. We want you back, and so does the city itself.
Yep.
Right.
So bringing that energy back.
Would it be easy to reach you through the email or just like through LinkedIn, or what's the preference for
not LinkedIn,
just reaching out?
You can email, or sometimes both of us. I'm at Bloody Mary NOLA. NOLA is New Orleans, Louisiana. At Bloody Mary NOLA on Instagram. What's your Instagram, Nick?
Just Nick Groff _ So it's just the one with the blue check. There's a lot of fake accounts out there. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous.
Okay.
But you can write me on
direct way. I actually am really weird. I answer my own phone too.
Yeah. Me too. I do my own stuff.
Yeah.
All my own stuff.
I do my own Facebook. I do my own everything there. So
yeah. Social media is interesting these days. I run my own, obviously, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm more on Instagram. I just feel like it's easier to communicate some stuff. But
I'm trying to get more on Instagram. I just started.
Yeah. So pretty much all of those.
We're supposed to die in the lake tonight.
What is happening?
St. John's Eve, June 23rd. Biggest celebrated day of the year. You die in the lake.
Yeah.
That is what really a baptism is. You're dying to your old way and you're being reborn in a new way. And we do this every year. So this is when I dunk you down in the river, old school river baptisms, and come up. And we're going to do that in a couple of hours. And I suggest that all of you, wherever you are, go die in the lake. Go jump in the river. Go jump in the ocean. Or if you, worst comes to worst, put some salt in your bathtub and dunk under there. Yep. It's a day to get rid of all the stuff that you might have been carrying that's weighing you down, that make that elevator fall, and we do this every year, June 23rd. It's a fire and water baptism on St. John the Baptist Day.
That's amazing. Yeah, I just did that over the weekend. I went to the ocean and jumped in that, swam in that for a while.
Yeah, you can do it on the solstice, but here we always did it on St. John.
Yeah, right.
And this has been planetary, and there's a lot of stuff going on. This is what we just had a solstice, a full moon. Not only the solstice of the full moon, but we had a solar eclipse.
Yeah, solar eclipse.
6 or 7 planets are in retrograde. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. So we have to hold through this ride and then figure out how to rebirth it all.
Yeah. Well, all we can do is stay healthy and positive and keep moving forward.
And don't let fear destroy you, people.
Right.
There's a lot of people I know that just locked themselves away and lost it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Worst things out there that could kill you that people weren't afraid of.
yeah, your own mind. Your own mind can kill you.
How many of you have, I don't know, we could just say, what about having sex without a condom? How many people throw that caution to the wind, people? Let's put that out there. Think about how many times you tempted fate. Let's just be cautious, not be fearful. It's okay. Not that I ever,
Okay.
you know. What?
It's always great talking to you.
Okay.
Early though, if there's any
Okay.
questions that come through that are late, again, you can email me. I'll try to find answers. You go to my website, BloodyMaryNewOrleans.com. You go to Nick's Instagram, my Instagram. But look at my current stalls also on YouTube. And the G Crew show is good. I got one I did on my birthday.
That's
April
right.
2nd, last time we talked.
Yep. Good old Aries, April.
There
You
go.
are you Aries?
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I am.
Right. Yeah. Well, thanks for answering all the questions.
Oh, thank you for coming and being loyal.
Yeah, thank you.
All
Really
right.
appreciate it. Appreciate all the support.
No problem.
And I'll
Okay.
see you soon.
Thanks, you guys.
I'll stay here for
Right,
a minute after Nick, because I know you're going to go do a G Crew right now.
Yeah, I gotta go do that. All right, take care, everyone. Thank you. Good seeing you, Mary. All right, bye. Thank you.
If there's anything new up there. Okay, guys. Well, I hope to see you soon, and I'm going to probably put this up on YouTube or Facebook. If any of you missed part of it or care to look at it again, we will share it. Thank you so very much, guys. Bye.